Getting a puppy, it's just like bringing home a newborn baby from the hospital. Of correction, it takes 2 fingers and you just swat them in the nose. That freaks them out.
Really?
They're just like, what?
I'm to the point where I sweep every 3 days.
We say brush your dog on an off day.
And she knows what no is.
Yeah.
Like, that is the main thing.
Cool.
She knows. Like, if she's doing something, all I have to do is say no, and she'll stop. I've had so many questions about where I've gotten Ciri at. I mean, there are guys, a lot of guys around here like me that are single that love a companion.
They sense if you're sad.
Oh, yeah.
They can sense it when you're happy. They sense it if you're going through something, and they will intentionally that day try to give you a little extra attention.
I fell in love with her.
Yeah.
It was like she was my companion. She's my best friend.
Absolutely.
We wake up in the morning, she sleeps right next to me.
We did not know golden retrievers existed before 2010. The coolest thing is Mika's passed on, but her seed is still here.
So is Ciri part of that seed?
Ciri, she would be 4-time grandma.
Wow.
What it means to them.
Right.
A golden retriever means something different. To many families, to some it's just a pet. To some it's companionship.
Some it's a best friend.
They're not just a dog.
No, they're not. I'll never say that ever in my life again. No.
Just a dog.
Yeah.
We feed our girls when they're pregnant. We give them beef liver. You're going to lose a lot of sleep. Let's talk a little bit about conception.
Put the sweeper in the kitchen and it would be off, okay? And she would not cross that into the other. She'd just look at the sweeper and look around it like
not
this.
my friend.
And 3 months in, Ciri got extremely sick. And I did some research. I looked up on a Reddit forum. They switched companies where they were producing that food, and they're producing it with new hormones inside of it.
We only use Purina. We always tell our families, you want a lean dog, not an obese dog.
Yes.
I myself, very young girl, 14 years old. I was in a deep state of depression, and actually tried to take my life away. I've applied it to my life.
The definition of this word right here.
Exactly.
Warrior. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on.
The things that we go through shape our life.
Yes.
The things that are good and bad and ugly and painful, traumatizing, they shape your life. We want you to feel safe around us, where you can communicate with us. No judgment. I already have a name for him. And I said, really? His name is going to be Jake. Jake from State Farm.
Literally a week later, I get a call that says, you stay there at the house and you lose the dog, or you keep the dog and move out. And I said, well, I guess I'm leaving in the Jeep for a while. And it's like, it's not just a dog.
It changes you. It changes you, and it makes you a better person, because a male dog can smell a girl in heat 5 miles away.
This is one of the reasons I got Ciri fixed.
I'm a little smart. I don't leave water out all day, because doing that, you will be assured they will not be potty trained.
I've had Ciri bring back an East spout. I've had her bring back part of a mailbox before. Where did she get it? I don't know.
We've been together 35 years. So he's mine, actually. But
Makita
according
says
to that, thank God she's a dog, because if she was human, there'd be some competition there. And as it is, I get jealous sometimes. All dogs shed.
Yes.
You will read, hey, golden doodles don't shed F1, F2s, F3s. We have some. They shed hair. The stories are endless. It's almost like I see a clock.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one story that is so different from the next story. But it all goes back to everybody needs a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, as long as families are still having children and still wanting to be a family, your family is not, and I repeat, is not complete till you have a golden retriever in your home.
I believe it. What is happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of One Warrior. I have a very special guest today. I give you Francesca Shufelt. Is that pronounced properly?
Francesca.
Yeah,
Francesca. Yeah.
Is the last name Shufelt?
Shufelt.
Okay, so this is, again, not a fitness podcast today. I know we're going off the limb. We're going to be talking about dogs and dog health and just how to get the best out of your dog.
Absolutely.
Really. Because this is a whole new realm for me. I adopted a golden retriever back in November, December of this past year. And it was me and my ex that adopted her, and then we split up, me and my ex did. And I got custody. I bought Ciri full then after she left. And this has been a whole new realm for me. I have never had a dog. and speaking of that too, like I was never even supposed to have dogs in this house.
Oh, really?
I actually rent this house from my parents. And they gave me a great deal every month. And one of the things when I first moved in was I was not supposed to have pets. So when I come to my dad, well, with Tanisha, we had a golden retriever, Buddy, you know, and my dad let us have Buddy, the other golden retriever, because that was like it was kind of like a breaking point. Like Tanisha would not have like stayed here. So my dad understood that. But when Tanisha left, my dad was like, I don't want dogs here. I had to convince my dad for about a week to let me keep Ciri. And because for one, he didn't know I had her until I brought her over, and I walked in the house and with a little puppy, because my dad didn't know we adopted a dog. My dad had no idea we adopted a puppy. And so I walk in the house, meet Ciri, everybody. She's just a little puppy. I'm holding her. And my mom fell in love with her right away.
I can imagine.
My dad I had to convince. But I promised him I'd keep the house good, and so I got him convinced. So we're good.
You've kept your promise.
I did. I kept my promise, but it's been a whole new realm because I've never had a dog.
Absolutely.
They are a big responsibility.
Exactly.
I learned crate training takes. I was able to get her potty trained in about let's see here, less than a month. Probably about 3 weeks.
That's amazing.
I was literally setting my timer every night to wake up every 3 hours. I mean, I did not get much sleep the first month with Ciri.
Yeah.
I wanted to get her crate trained as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
So I woke up every 3 hours, let her out, and she was really smart about it. And I would bring her out, she'd go potty, and I'd give her a treat, and we'd go back in. And I did that for about 3 weeks. I'm waking up every 3 hours at night. It sucked big time. But now Ciri sleeps all through the night.
Yeah.
I never have to get up and let her out. It's amazing. I probably go pee myself 2 times at night, and Ciri just sleeps through the night.
So that's something that we like to tell people, that getting a puppy, it's just like bringing home a newborn baby from the hospital.
I can see that.
You're going to have lots of diaper changes. You're going to be getting up through the night. You may have wet diapers, meaning they may make a little mess.
Yeah.
But repetition is the key.
Well, my idea for avoiding messes around the house, throw rugs.
Yes.
So I bought so many area rugs when I first got Ciri, and when Tanisha moved out, I was like, this house, I cannot lose this house. It's because housing right now is crazy expensive, especially if you have a pet. COVID spiked that up a lot.
Yes,
I know some friends in the realty market, and they rose the prices of the market.
Dog, yeah.
Right. If you're around this area, it's going to cost you $800, $900 a month to have a dog in a place with only 2 bedrooms at the most. It's crazy.
It's expensive.
So I knew the deal that I was getting here, and I knew I didn't want to lose that. So I bought a bunch of throw rugs. I laid them out all over the place. I was like, the more ground I can cover, the less that I have to worry about.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. And you can throw them away and replace them.
Right. Well,
anytime. If you need to.
Right. And that was something that worked, and for the first like 3 weeks, and then, she was potty trained. We were good. We have not had an accident. Since, let's see here, January, February, probably around March, maybe.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I go to the gym at night, and let her look around the house, and no, she doesn't, she knows to wait till I get home.
That is amazing.
She's very smart.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry that she's going to make a mess or tear something up, because you've taught her. You've been teaching and working with her.
The biggest thing was wires.
Yes.
She chewed up one part of my surround sound system when she was just a puppy, and I did smack her. And she learned though real quick not to chew on wires though. She doesn't touch wires now.
For her best.
Yes. She learned. I have those big coax cables running right through there, and she never chews on them at all. So
something that you just said, you swatted at her.
Yeah.
Something big that I tell our families, that when you're in puppy phase, if your puppy's doing something you don't approve of, example, biting your shoe, biting kids' clothes, jumping on mother-in-law, father-in-law, grandma, grandpa, some of the early stages of correction, it takes 2 fingers and you just swat them in the nose. That freaks them out.
Really?
They're just like, what? Swat yourself on the nose. Kind of hurts.
I guess, yeah.
It kind of hurts. It makes you think twice.
It does.
And so
it's an awkward thing.
It is very awkward. And another factor of that is taking your hand towards the rib area and you just when they're doing something. So there's 2 forms of correction without actually injuring them or hurting them.
Right. Yeah.
And they will stop. And that repetition again, they go doing that again. If biting your shoe, biting a pillow, or because they're puppies, they're going to teeth. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure they're teething on the right things.
I bought her
Puppy
so
toys.
many
Right.
toys for her to teeth on. And
Yeah.
I think it took her maybe, she was teething for quite a while.
Yep.
I mean, she still loves tearing shit apart.
Yeah. So did you ever find a tooth? A puppy
I
tooth?
never found a puppy.
It is the coolest thing. It happens. It's rare, but you will find it. You will find, just like your child
I
loses
just
a
figured they
tooth.
got swept up.
That it got, yeah.
Because I'm to the point where I sweep every like 3 days.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny because my mom was over here last week and she was saying the house is the cleanest it's ever been. I'm like, well, I have to sweep every 3 days. When I lived alone and didn't have any pets, I literally swept maybe like once a month. So the fact that I have to sweep every 3 days, I bought this really high powered sweeper too. And after I adopted her, and I mean, it's crazy how much hair she puts off.
Yeah. And, talking about the hair, that's a good thing you're talking about. We say brush your dog on an off day. For us, it's like a Sunday. Sunday is a day that we're not busy. We're not running around. We go to church, but then once we get home, it's our off day. We do nothing. We eat at home, whatever we do. Those are the days I call off days, where you just spend a little extra time with your pet, brushing them,
I do on Sunday.
Bathing them, clipping their nails, deworming them, exercising them a little bit more because you couldn't through the week because you're working.
Right.
So choose a day to spend a little extra time and give your pet an extra.
Sunday is my day with that. With
Sunday's
Ciri.
our
I
day.
get to spend a lot of time with Ciri on Sundays. We go on walks and we sometimes
you
go to
go.
the park down in Archibald, a really beautiful area.
Yeah.
It's just like our together
Exactly.
time.
And they look forward to it. No different than a child looks forward for you taking them out for ice cream. Look forward to it.
It's crazy how they know too. They
Yeah.
know it's Sunday. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely insane. Like they just have a different attitude. Like she knows during the week when I'm in my office, because I work from home. I work for an insurance company here at home. She knows when I'm in my office and I have my headset on. She knows to not bark. She knows to be quiet, very behaved.
Wow.
But on Sundays, it's like, let's go. Like I don't know how she knows the day.
She just
the
knows,
week.
and she's routine.
Routine. Okay.
She's been watching you
Yep.
establish a routine, so she knows to respond to that. Dad's working. She understands Dad's working, so I'm not going to bother Dad. But I know when I can on Sunday. So they're a smart breed.
Right.
They're a very smart breed.
They are, and I think I did a little bit of research this on. I have them as the third smartest breed.
Yeah.
Aren't they third or fourth? They're right under a shepherd of some
German.
German Shepherd. There we
German
go.
Shepherd,
They're right under
yeah.
a German Shepherd, which
Exactly.
a German Shepherd is one of the smartest dogs. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty crazy.
Uh-huh.
I did not know that retrievers were that smart. Never knew that.
One of the things people really like about the retrievers, talking about the smartness, is their ability to learn quick. They learn fast, and they usually learn on the first time what you're trying to teach them. And then you just keep repeating that process. If you're teaching them to throw a ball, retrieve, they bring it back. They're very smart. And in the police world, you've got canine that are German Shepherd. The next is Golden Retriever. So those are the two tops.
Are there any
Police dogs.
golden retrievers are police dogs?
In Toledo. Really? They've got some. And
I've
so
never seen that.
some people have followed suit doing German Shepherd, but they don't realize that there's other breeds that are just as smart. Golden Retriever. And so
I mean, people are thinking like golden retriever is probably not a fierce dog, but they can be fierce. There is one down our road when me and Ciri take our walks on Sunday. If we walk past, there's a male golden retriever down there. That is a fierce golden retriever. I mean, her bark is just a scary bark. He's built nice and tough. I mean, you can just tell like they can do a little damage.
yeah. Well, that one is telling you they're protecting their property.
Yes.
And if they're the only dog and then they're letting other dogs, other humans, they're telling them through the bark, this is my area. I'm allowed to patrol. There's probably underground wire, so he would never cross.
No, there's underground wire to the wall, to the fence. Yeah.
But them letting that bark out is no different than a lion roaring in a jungle. They're telling you, this is my area. I'm guarding it. I'm protecting it. I'm doing my job. So they're doing their job. Ciri would do the same thing. Ciri would do the same thing
Ciri
if she was
doesn't really
out.
bark because
She doesn't bark.
Yeah, it's fascinating because when she was younger, you know, if she barked, I'd say, Ciri, you can't do because I work from home and there's a strict rule. You can't have outside noise. Like that noise will get me fired. And I signed a contract. So I had to be strict with Ciri about that. But now she won't bark at all. Like there'll be a dog barking next door and she's just like she's afraid to bark. And I'm like, Ciri, you can bark now. You can bark outside. Yeah. She's just terrified to bark. But I never hit her from it. I just was like, you can't bark. Like I was stern with her. I was like, no. And she knows what no is. Yeah. Like that is the main thing. Cool. She knows. Like if she's doing something, all I have to do is say no and she'll stop. It's insane. It blows my mind that one word is so scary to her.
Yeah, and it's a powerful word, and it goes back to child rearing. If you had a little child, a little toddler, a little preschooler, even an adult teen, you say the word no, they're going to respond to that. There's purpose behind that word.
Well, kids fight back a lot more than dogs.
Yeah, they do. And vocal, much more vocal.
You're right, correct. I know.
So what are some of the questions you may have today?
So we'll start out. We got off track there, but
no,
we'll start
okay.
off. It's fine though. This is going to happen today.
Good.
This is good. We're going to start off with an elevator introduction. You ever hear of an elevator introduction?
No.
So an elevator introduction is something, and nobody ever hears about this apparently on my podcast, but an elevator introduction is when you go into a building and you walk into an elevator. And we live in the country, but I learned this in college. I went to Cincinnati. I learned this in college. And you go into an elevator, you meet somebody new. You have about 20 to 30 seconds to get to know them. Francesca, I meet you in an elevator. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Francesca. I don't live around here. I live in a little country called Edgerton, Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. If we get 3 cars go by on our road, you're looking and saying, that's too many.
You have a big church down there, though.
We have a big church, Life-Changing Church.
I've been to there.
We go to Life-Changing Church with Pastor Byron. So we love dogs. That's what I would tell you. We love our dogs. We love our kids. We love our grandkids. We love our church.
You guys are breeders, dog breeders,
We're
right?
We're dog breeders, golden retriever dog breeders. And then,
You guys also own a Mexican cuisine company too. Food.
We do. Francesca's Mexican cuisine and catering. We do authentic Mexican food.
I love authentic Mexican food.
It's really good.
It's so different than if you just go like to a restaurant or something.
Exactly. And something cool that we've been doing is with that takeout, people order and we bring it to them. They eat it at their home versus them leaving their home and going to a restaurant, driving and going to a restaurant, raining. They don't want to pack their kids to. So
you probably started that during COVID, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
That would be the best time to start something like that.
So COVID was a great time to actually think out of the box and do things different. One of the things that I'm not happy that I had to do was at one time we used to let, people coming to adopt their puppy, we'd let them meet and greet mom and dad. Like you could pet them, you could meet mom and dad. We've come to a place because of COVID and uncertainty out there with infectious diseases, what have you. It can be transmittable to a dog. So we're cautious with that.
Right.
So that's something that we don't do anymore. We'll show you pictures of mom and dad. Heads up, this is mom and dad. But as far as touching them, cuddling with them, we only are the ones that can do that. Only because protection.
Right. You guys have, I think, 3 or 4 families of dogs that you are constantly breeding.
We've got 3 girls.
3 girls.
3 girls that we breed, and we actually have puppies coming next month. You
guys have puppies every month almost.
2 months.
About every month I've noticed, or month and a half. And I try to always share that post because I love helping you guys.
And thank you for doing that.
I've had so many questions about where I've gotten Ciri at. I mean, there are guys, a lot of guys around here like me that are single that love a companion, and a dog's the perfect companion. And I've led a few people to try to talk to you to try to, maybe get a dog. And it's
exactly. Something amazing about them is that they know the golden retriever breed. They know that if you're going through something, even before they sense if you're sad.
Oh, yeah.
They can sense it when you're happy. But above all, they sense it if you're going through something, and they will intentionally that day try to give you a little extra attention.
You're so right. I had an off day at work this past week, and I was like, something happened, and I was a little upset about it. And she knew, she picked up on that, and she just wanted to cuddle with me.
Yes.
Like she just wanted to. It was so interesting, and it happened too. Like early on, like when me and Tanisha broke up, she could tell when I was sad, and then she cuddled me too and helped that whole breakup process.
They say, a golden retriever makes a good therapist.
Yes.
A golden retriever makes a good therapist, a good counselor, a good friend. They replace that which you lost. Sadness, they give you joy.
Yeah.
Heartbreak, they remind you, hey, I'm here for you. I'm not going anywhere. And so everybody needs a dog.
Yeah. And I agree. I agree fully with that. And it's so funny because a few years ago, I was one of those people that knew people with dogs, and I was like, it's just a dog. Yeah. And I would be the one to say
it's just a furry animal.
It's just, exactly. Because I grew up, we grew up on a farm, and we had outside dogs, but they were just outside dogs,
right.
For protectors, they weren't the companion type. And I've always gone through my life like that, like they're just a dog. Within a month of having Ciri, like after I bought full custody of her, I fell in love with her. Yeah. Like, it was like she was my companion. She's my best friend.
Absolutely.
We wake up in the morning, she sleeps right next to me. Like, literally my best friend. And it's like a mindset switch for me because it blew my mind. I never thought I could fall in love with an animal
with a dog.
like that.
I love a dog.
Yes.
I love my dog.
I'm a warrior. It's
I'm a warrior that loves a dog.
Exactly. And it's it's a big thing in my life now. It's like it just blows my mind. There's crazy.
So during COVID season, we lost 7 family members in 4 months. And so my heart, it was I was in severe depression. I didn't tell anybody, but I knew I was, and my dogs knew it. And so thank God for my dogs, because they comforted me. They helped me get through that season. And it was just like, you shouldn't be having family reunions at a funeral home, but we were. And I would just go home and wonder who's next.
Since all COVID, they passed away all because of COVID.
All COVID. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to cry.
No, that's okay. I mean, that's crazy because I personally don't know very many people that got really sick during COVID. I actually had COVID 3 times myself.
Yeah.
First time felt like I was going to die. The second time, not so bad. And the third time was horrible.
Yes.
And I think the last time was that new strand that came out, because that one I think was harder on the rest than the other ones. But that's, you had 7 family members.
7 family members. We lost the week of Christmas that year. We lost 2 back to back in less than 24 hours. I lost a nephew and a cousin less than 24 hours.
Wow.
And it was 4 months, 7 family members. And I remember I thank God for my husband. He comforted me and got me through it. But my dogs, they were there for me. And I just remember drinking coffee, sitting on the porch and just crying and snuggling with my dog and just saying, wow, I don't have to say a word. You already know how I feel. Yeah, like you don't have to say a word. They know how you feel. They knew that I was acting different. I wasn't myself. And it was just really cool because when you got your dog leaning on your leg, they're trying to distract me from what I was going through and focus on them. And that's what is amazing about Golden Retriever. They know if you're having a good day, a bad day, and they will do whatever it takes to get your focus off the problem, off of that, and to put it on them, to give you back a smile, a joy, laughter. They may do something funny, silly to distract you from yourself. Isn't that crazy?
It is. And I believe it because I say Ciri is the light to my darkness. I've had a lot of dark things that happen to me in my past, and that's still, I fight demons every day. And Ciri is the light to that, I think.
Absolutely.
She helps me through a lot of that stuff.
Absolutely. I fully agree to that. We have a lot of families that have come to us. We've been breeding. I'll just back up for a minute. So 2010 was our first Golden Retriever that we got. Her name was Mika.
Okay.
She has passed on since then. We did not know Golden Retrievers existed before 2010. Him and I did not know that. I was always around Chihuahuas, Pomeranians, Alaskan dogs. He was around German Shepherds and what other kinds were you around? A beagle.
I had a beagle.
So
a couple beagles actually.
And we thought that was the bomb. Those kind of dogs. Because if that's all you know, You think that's the bomb. That's it.
Yeah.
And then we got Mika, our first golden retriever. She was introduced to us and she needed a home. And we said, we'll take her because we wanted a pet. We just didn't want any pet. We just wanted something little, but yet, that she would like all the kids. And here comes Mika. She was given to us. And we're like, what? What is this? Sweet girl. Loved the kids. And we got her around 4 months. So she was still very much puppy. And so from there, we waited 2 years. So 2010, we got her. So 2 years later, we bred her with a friend's golden and we had our first litter. So 2012, we actually had our first litter. And then we've been breeding since then. So it's been a good 10 years we've been breeding. The coolest thing is Mika's passed on, but her seed is still here.
So is Ciri part of that seed?
Ciri, she would be, Mika would be Ciri's 4-time grandma.
Wow, that's so cool.
A great grandma.
Wow, I graduated 2010, so that's really interesting.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, so her seed is still here and it's going nowhere. We have some of her daughters. So it's her daughters that are today giving us babies and we're blessing people with babies.
That's amazing.
And I tell you why blessing. We've had families come to us. Wow. So I'll tell you a story about Zach. Is that a good one? That's a good story. So there was a gentleman that came to us. His name was Zach. And when we met Zach, he was maybe about 110 pounds. He had a trach. He had a feeding tube. He was engaged and he was in a mountain bike accident. He broke his back. He was not the same Zach. He was in need of a lot of health care. He was engaged and his fiance broke it off with him because that's not Zach. She liked the beach Zach, not the health care, gonna need a lot of care Zach. So they broke up. And so Zach come to us and he said, I want to get a girl. She kind of like you had a heartache. Zach had the same thing. And I want to get a girl puppy. And I said, why a girl? Because she will never break my heart and she will never leave me.
Kind of why I got Ciri too. I didn't tell Tanisha that at the time, but I didn't want a male puppy. I wanted a female. There was a specific. I asked for a female.
Yes.
I told Tanisha next time they have a female available, message her. We'll adopt.
We'll get a female.
Yep.
Well, Zach did the same thing. He's like, I want a girl because I want her to be my girl. She will never leave my side and she'll be there for me. And I said, that's awesome. So Zach visited a couple times. He picked out his girl. He fell in love with her. I took many pictures of him. And the day came that Zach took her home. And we were so excited because we knew he was starting a new life, a new journey, a new beginning, a new season with just him and his girl.
Yeah.
And fast forward, I got a phone call a year later. It was in December. It was about a week before Christmas. My husband works for the schools. He drives bus. And I got this phone call, a number I didn't recognize. They left a voicemail. I thought it was my husband, trying to call me using somebody's phone because he didn't have a cell phone with him. I call back, I listen to the voicemail, and the voicemail sounds like this. You don't know me, but I know everything about you through my son, Zach. My son, Zach, you already know, had lots of health issues. That's why he got a little girl puppy from you. And Zach caught a cold, which he couldn't shake off. And we had Zach on life support for 3 days. And I had to let my son go yesterday. I'm getting ready to shut his phone off. And I was scrolling through and your name came up. Shufelt's Golden Retriever, Golden Kisses. I knew Zach would want me to tell you that he's not here no more. The real reason I'm calling you, she said, to tell you that thank you for giving me a granddaughter. And I wept.
Wow.
She said, her husband had passed away and Zach was her only son. And so Zach was her world. Now her Zach is gone. And she said, and because of this little girl puppy, I have a granddaughter. Thank you for given me a granddaughter that I feel like Zach is here. Here's the cool thing about what she has done.
That is, wow.
I've talked to her many times. She's in Florida now. We talk all the time, and she sends me pictures of the puppy and what have you. She's like a couple years old now. She has yet to wash any of Zach's jerseys. He was a football fan.
Yeah.
She puts jerseys on her, Marley, and Marley thinks that Zach is here.
Because of the scent.
Because of the scent. She doesn't know he's gone. She said, I will never wash any of Zach's jerseys. They're for Marley. And so that's just one of the reasons. That happened about 8 years ago. And when I heard that story and we were part of that story, I told my husband, we have to be intentional. Now knowing that we helped somebody, we saved her, as she says to me.
Yeah.
You've given me a new joy. I don't want to ever stop. As long as we have health to keep doing what we're doing, we want to keep bringing many more families bonding with the golden retriever because of what it means to them.
Right.
A golden retriever means something different to many families. To some, it's just a pet. To some, it's companionship.
Some, it's a best friend.
Some, it's a best friend. To this lady, it's her granddaughter, her only ever granddaughter. And we just had a family last year that came to us. Their little boy has a seizure disorder, a feeding tube, and he's got a form of autism, Asperger's, a little higher level than that. He was around 11-ish when mom came, and she says, we're at our wit's end with our son. We don't know what to do with him. He keeps pulling his feeding tube out when he gets a seizure. He doesn't understand that he's to eat. That's why he has a feeding tube. And then he gets a seizure, pulls it out. We take him to the emergency room. Sometimes they send us to Columbus to put it in because other hospitals local get frustrated with him because he does this twice a month, 3 times a month. And they're telling us that if we're at the place with him, that if he does it again, we don't know what to do. We don't know what are next steps for you and your son. So I'm here desperately asking for help, and I'm bawling. I'm meeting this mom for the first time. She's like, please help. So I'm like,
it's like, wow, that's all on me.
Let's have your son sit down. And they came to our home, and I had the couple puppies, like 6 of them. And we put all the puppies around her son, Zach. And we said, okay. Yeah. I said, we're going to let the puppy choose Zach. And he'd reach out and he'd be playing with them. And he was just smiling. Mom said, I haven't seen him smile in months. And she's sobbing. She's like, what is going on? I said, just let's see who's going to pick Zach. So we started seeing some puppies just literally walk away. So those we put in a little pen I have outside. Next, we're seeing 2 hanging out with him. And next, we're seeing 1. So I took the one that walked away. And then the one that stayed, she crawled up. Mind you, they're 3 weeks.
Yeah, real small.
She crawled up, and he bends down, and she's kissing him, and she's licking him, and she's licking his ear. And he's giggling, and he's laughing. And his mom said he'd never been around a dog, so she wasn't sure how he would respond to that because of the autism.
Yeah.
He melted. And he was laughing. And she said he doesn't talk because of the autism. He actually, sound was coming out of his mouth. Joyful sounds. And I got to hear it with her. So guys, they're not just a dog.
No, they're not. I'll never say that ever in my life again. No.
Just a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like I've said, we've had lots of other kinds of dogs, but these, they're just almost like human. They know exactly what you need.
Yep, they do.
They know. And so to make the story short, Zach got this little girl puppy, took her home. Mom's texting me and she's saying, he's not pulling his feeding tube out like he used to. I mean, if he does it maybe every 2 months, it's not so close. It's not like life is different. Life is better. And now Sadie, her name's Sadie, their golden retriever. She waits for him at the door. She knows when he's coming home. Mom says 5 good minutes before Zach gets off the bus. Sadie's at the door waiting and greeting him. Like, come on, dude, hurry up. Let's go. I want to cuddle with you. So what we do is more for purpose than for any other reason.
That is God's given purpose to you guys.
Exactly.
I truly believe that.
Exactly. So when I was 5, my mom was breeding Chihuahuas, and I used to help her. And I loved mothering them. It's just instinct in a woman. You love to mother things. But I was like taking it to the next level. I'm mothering these puppies, and they would yell at me and tell me, put them down. Their mom, they need a nurse now. And I'm like, no, they don't need to. I'm going to help. They would have to pull the puppies out of my hands.
Oh, gosh.
My parents. And then they would tell me, hey, you need to go play on your swing set. And I'm like, okay. And then as soon as mom and dad went in the house, of course, I was back there. They didn't know that. But if you would have told me, and I'm an educated woman. I've been to school for nursing. I've been to school for phlebotomy. I've worked at hospitals. I've worked in medical groups. And if you would have told me that I wasn't going to be doing that anymore, I've helped deliver babies. If you would have told me that your life's going to change, I'd say, how so? Well, your education doesn't matter anymore.
Not at all. Nope.
I paid a lot of money. I had to pay for my education. What are you talking about? I got in debt because of my education. I would have to laugh at you. But today, I am the happiest of women. I have found my purpose.
Oh, yeah.
I have found my calling, and I really enjoy it.
I can tell.
I really enjoy it.
The first time I ever met you, when me and Tanisha were over there, I knew that you loved what you did. I could just tell, like, absolutely. You love dogs. You know everything about them. You were just talking to us about. I was like, wow, this is I've never talked to anybody like that before. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Very passionate for me. So when we had our very first litter, I was so scared because I didn't know what I was doing. And she had 5 puppies. Mika did her first litter. She had 5 puppies. And the craziest thing is, her kids are still here.
Yeah.
And 2 church families got puppies from her. So they're in contact. They're all in the Edgerton area.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
So we get to see them. We know about them and stuff. And I remember calling and asking for advice with other people that have bred before, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
And the amount of responsibility that comes with breeding and vet care and, personal care, individual care, it's a lot of work.
Ciri is a ton of work. I mean,
it's a lot of work.
When I first took her to the vet, it was like, the next appointment's then. And I okay, we'll make an appointment for then. And then I got her fixed, and then the follow up, and then it was like, and then medications, and then it was like one after another.
And that's one.
That's one puppy.
That's one. And we have, we care for our dogs, but then when we have a litter of puppies, it's a whole new level of care. I'm like on guard. Mom's going to give birth. You got to give her the right food. You got to give her medical care, same thing with the puppies. You got to be deworming them during the process. So, just a lot of care. We feed our girls when they're pregnant. We give them beef liver because it builds their iron levels. So the day of labor and delivery, it makes it easier for them to push the babies out. During labor and delivery, we're giving mom water. We're offering mom food. And we give her honey. We give her a little tablespoon of honey.
Oh, why is that?
Because her sugar tends to drop.
Oh.
Yeah, during the process of labor and delivery. So you want to be ready. You want to be ready with scissors in case you got to help deliver a puppy, which I've had to do many.
You have the experience, though. God threw you in that position at the hospital with babies because he knew what you needed you to do later in life.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. I never thought of that. But yes.
Yeah. I always looked to things in previous of my life, like, this is why God had me do this, because at the time I didn't know why I was at this position. And then I'm like, later in life, I'm like, this is why I'm at this position.
Yeah.
I used to be, back in high school, a radio op at a radio, and I did interviews with people at a radio. I never thought I would ever need that again. And then I brought back, I did a podcast, and I started that back in 2019 was the first year we did 1WARRIOR. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's
we like to say that God has a sense of humor, you know.
For sure.
He has a
He
great
really
sense
does.
of humor, you know, because when you think like you're done doing something, like you're, you know, telling me, he's like, no, it's just you're doing it a different direction.
Well, I still think the reason that he had me and Tanisha hook up was for me to have Ciri, because the reason being is because months before I even met Tanisha, I was going just through kind of a depression of a loneliness, and I was thinking about getting a dog, and I was looking at dogs online, and I was like, I feel like a golden retriever would be awesome to have. And this was months before I even met Tanisha.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then I met Tanisha, and then we got together, and she had a golden retriever. I'm thinking, this is weird. This is weird that we have a golden, and she moved in, we had a golden retriever, and it was awesome. And then she told me about you guys, and I'm like, could I possibly have my own golden retriever? And we adopted Ciri, you know, and then literally like not even a month later, me and her broke up, and then I was just me and Ciri, and it was like this. I really think that relationship was truly just for me to get Ciri, because I was too nervous on how to go about adopting a dog. I didn't even know where to start. Like
the next steps.
Ryan's pet store. I didn't even know where to go.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah,
so I think that was part of the reason for that.
Yeah, I really believe that, you know, God planned it out for you for that, you know, and it's brought you so much joy.
Oh my gosh,
you know, so much joy. And something that a lot of people don't know, that when you are breeding and you have a mom getting ready to have babies, you're going to lose a lot of sleep.
I bet.
And I cannot emphasize that. You will lose. I remember one of the litters, it was a third shift litter.
Oh.
There's first shift, second shift, and third shift. You always want first shift puppies. That means daytime hours.
Yeah, I figured.
Second shift, you can handle it. Third shift, when you get this age, you pray and you hope to stay awake for it, because it's hard. It's very hard.
I bet.
And so you lose a lot of sleep. And then you got to catch up on the sleep. And then you pray that each puppy makes it. Doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I bet.
You pray that all the puppies are a good size. Doesn't always happen. You may have a little runt. We've had puppies this length of my finger. Wow. The length of my finger, and their face, the tip of my finger.
They probably don't make it.
And mom's nips
they're
is bigger
they can't
than
feed.
the puppy's mouth. And so you're here assisting the puppy to latch on, and it's the brothers, the sisters are gaining weight. They're pushing her off, your puppy off, because she's too little. So you got to be the bodyguard. You got to be the coach. You got to be the team player and say, hey, come on, let's help her.
Yeah.
So it's constant care. It's every half hour latching her on, because she's not going to make it.
Right.
And this I have to tell you.
Okay.
It's only happened once. I read about it and I said, no way, this can never be. So I had read an article one day that a breeder lady, she put all her 4 kids through college on her work, you know, breeding her golden retrievers. And they all were Ohio State graduates. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Her article was more than that. She talked about a dog, that her golden retriever that had puppies, and then she went shopping and did stuff, and literally the next day, 24 hours later, that mom pushed out one more puppy. And I said, oh no, that cannot be. There's no way.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? Exactly. Well, It happened to the Shufelts. It happened to us. So my daughter was at home at that time. She had just graduated, Jasmine. She had just graduated, and she helped me labor delivery with one of the girls. And we counted 10 puppies. 10 puppies. And it was a third shift. Puppies are born. Everybody's doing great. We're excited. 10 puppies. We had the times. Boy, this time a girl. We knew exactly how spaced out the next puppy was coming. We had it all wrote down. And her and I were exhausted. She's like, Mom, let's go get some breakfast and what have you. So we did. And then we checked on the puppies, same 10. Full 24 hours later. And then now it's getting nighttime. We noticed that there was a wet puppy. This little thing was moving around, and I looked at my daughter and I said, Jazz, doesn't that Doesn't that puppy look too little? It looks like it's wet. Why is it wet?
Oh gosh.
But I don't know. Maybe the mom licked it so much it wet her. Does it give him bats?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said, how about we count the puppies? Make sure there's still 10. And my daughter begins to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mom, I think she had another puppy when we were gone.
There's 11 puppies.
There's 11 puppies. And I said, what? 24 hours later.
I didn't know that it could even physically happen.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about conception.
Okay.
So the first day that mom and dad ties up, it's just a tie-up day.
Uh-huh.
And if they tie up 2 days later, 3 days later, 5 days later, it's that last time that you see them tie up that you then begin to count your labor delivery day. You go 63 days from that day. You go 60 to 67, 63 to 67.
Okay.
But it starts the last day they tie up. The first couple of days matter too, but it's really the last time that they tie up that you go by date to track when your puppies are coming. So I do from first to the last. I give myself a good week.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than likely going to happen towards the end of the week, but I go from the first. Sometimes when dogs are together, it doesn't mean they're going. Sometimes it's just pleasure.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
I
Don't expect
like humans.
Just like humans, you have fun. It doesn't mean you're going to conceive a baby. For some it takes 2 years, and some it never happens. Some it happens quick. Dog world the same. I mean, just because they tie up, it doesn't mean anything. That's where you get a vet involved. Around 35 days gestational period, you can take your pet to the vet and they can do ultrasound. They can tell you, heads up. We see, and you'll see little skeletons, like little backs in little heads, like everything's white. And they'll count for you.
Uh-huh.
And our vets are amazing. We go to Auburn Hills in Indiana. Amazing. If you like Dr. Pole, this is like a Dr. Pole office. Wonderful staff, friendly vets, reasonable prices as well. So we usually recommend our families there if they don't have a vet.
Yeah. I use Archibald down the road.
I've
They're
heard
pretty good.
very good things about them too.
The only thing I didn't like about that place is they don't let me go back there with Ciri.
Oh.
Yeah, that first day I was like, huh? I have to wait in the waiting room? I did not like that.
Yeah.
That was my big thing I didn't like.
So with ours, you can go back, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so like
you should be able to.
Yeah. So when we take our puppies, they have this, it looks like a Walmart shopping cart. It's all plastic, no metal, just all plastic. And they'll let us put our puppies in there, and then we help them. All the puppies have different colors of collars or bandana. And so, or if they already have a name, we start telling them, okay, this is a puppy. They begin to weigh them for us. They'll vaccinate them for us. They do a full body checkup for us called health clearance. They clear. If the testicles haven't dropped, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, it's okay. They're a pet.
Right.
So healthcare is important, getting them veterinarian care, feeding them good food, exercising them, socializing them. It's a big responsibility. Pet care is a big responsibility. It's not just, here you go, here's your pet. I hope you do well.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at
during
all.
the visits, as early as 2 to 3 weeks, more towards 3, we allow families to come and choose their puppy.
Yep.
Weekly visits, how
I
you guys
loved that.
did.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
And how she remembered me too. Like the next time we came, like Ciri remembered me. Like I could tell she remembered me.
Yeah. And you're bonding with your pet. They smell.
Yep.
When they're born, golden retrievers and all puppies, they're born blind and they're born deaf. So it's just strictly their nose, how they find their mom.
For how long is that?
That's about a good 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
From birth. And eventually within the 2 week mark, you can actually look at their ear. It's literally closed and you'll start seeing that little hole open. It's the coolest thing.
Wow.
Their eyes are shut and you'll start seeing them open from the ends, just like a touch. Next thing you know, it's half open. And it looks like it's super glued. Like it's just the craziest thing.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, their eyes are open and their ears are open. And you know, because you clap and they turn.
They respond to that. Yep.
Like, they can hear today. And so then I start introducing them at that point around the 2-week mark. I start introducing about 10 days, 10 to 12 days. I start introducing them to things like toys, little kids' music boxes, texture, grass, dirt. So other dogs, you know, the sounds, just so that I run the sweeper. So they're not afraid. So how is she with the sweeper?
So the first few times she was horrible. I mean, she'd go on the couch and shake like crazy, and I had to turn it off and comfort her. I was like, "It's okay, girl." And then then there was times where I was doing rooms, I'd put the sweeper in the kitchen, and it would be off. Okay, and she would not cross that into the other. She'd just look at the sweeper and look around it like
not
this,
my friend.
and she'd sniff it. And I got to the point where I had to bring her up close to it just for her to sniff it. Like, "It's okay, girl. It's not going to hurt you." And now she just likes to chase it. When I turn it on, she's just like just jumping around it. Like, she just loves it when I sleep. And a lot of times I put her outside while I sleep because I never get anything done.
They're amazing. Yeah. Yeah. So what?
So okay, I know we got off topic a little bit, but that's okay though. I knew this was going to happen, but so a little bit of starting with nutrition. Let's discuss fundamentals with nutrition. What are essential nutrients that should be included in a dog's diet, and how can pet owners, ensure their dog is receiving a balanced nutrition? Because for me, I started giving her, when she was a puppy, we gave her Retriever brand dog food, which was great. I could tell she liked it. She responded well with it. Her coat, the Retriever brand was known good for good coats, and I could tell she was developing a very good, healthy coat. Okay. And then it was about 3 months in, Ciri got extremely sick. I didn't know what happened. She had terrible diarrhea, throwing up. I couldn't leave for the gym without her like it was bad, and I didn't know what was going on. It was scary as heck. And I didn't know what to do. And I decided to look up the ingredients on Retriever brand. And I read that, and I started to read the comments. And the comments are like, "My dog's getting extremely sick now. What's going on?" And I did some research. I looked up on a Reddit forum. They switched companies where they were producing that food. And they're producing it with new hormones inside of it then too, which I cut out the instruction. Wow. I cut out the ingredients label compared to the other dog food because I still had an old dog food bag. And I compared them. I was like, they're completely different ingredients. So I wrote the company a long, hateful letter. Yeah. And said, "You fix your shit."
Exactly.
And I switched her to Purina One that night.
Nice.
And I love that brand. She loves that brand so much. And the diarrhea went away. She stopped throwing up. She was back normal within a week. And actually within a few days, even within like 3 days, she was back to normal. I was like, "There's my dog. My dog is back."
Exactly.
And it scared me to death.
Absolutely. So, we only use Purina. So wow. I'm glad you're, when awesome. You said that, I'm like, he's doing good. We only use Purina for puppies, Purina puppy chow. For the adult dogs, Purina dog chow.
That's what I will only use from here on out. I did my research.
Yes. Chicken flavor, beef flavor.
First ingredients. Yeah. They're literally the first ingredients.
Yeah. And we always tell our families, you want a lean dog, not an obese dog. Yes. There is a difference. Yes. The lean dog will live longer. The obese dog, you are setting them up for failure. They're not going to be here. They're going to have arthritis. They're going to have bad knees. They're going to have bad back because they're obese. No different than a human being. Yeah. 600-pound life versus 160. Yeah. Just saying. So we feed our dogs a cup in the morning, a cup for supper, and they have water all day long. With our puppies, we change that. They do breakfast, lunch, and supper. Yep. They do about a half a cup when they leave our home. The puppies at 8 weeks, they do about a half a cup Purina puppy chow. We do food. We do water. Some like the water in their food. So nutrition is very important. No different than us. If you don't eat your meals, you're gonna have brain fog. Yeah. You're gonna have behaviors. You're going to be hangry. Yeah. Don't want to be around people like that. No. Your dog can become that way too. So if you have an irritable dog, you have a dog that's not behaving right, I would definitely check the food, make sure that they're being satisfied. My husband is a bone guy. Like, I'm bad with bones. He's my bone guy. Like, I love him. He'll be like, did you give him a bone with the breakfast?
That's interesting that you say that.
No, I didn't.
So that's a concept. Like, a lot of people say bones are bad for dogs. They will not, like Tanisha, she would not feed Buddy bones at all. And I feed Ciri bones on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Beef bones and pork bones. Yeah.
What's it called, that box that you give them?
Well, this is milk bones.
These are milk bones.
Okay.
Menards carries them. It's a big 10
I buy
pound
those
box.
too. I buy those too. Yep.
And so he will put one in their bowl for food for breakfast.
Okay.
So they get that.
Yep.
But they only get it once for breakfast. 1 bone a day. Puppies, they've got milk bones for puppies, and they're literally like the length of your nail.
Yeah, I
those
bought,
are good.
Yeah, when she was a puppy, I bought her the small ones.
The little ones.
Now she gets the bigger ones.
Yeah.
But what about animal bones?
We used to do that, not so much anymore.
Okay.
What's the reason behind that? Shards or something?
Yeah.
We don't want to take a risk.
Shards.
We don't want to take a risk.
That's what a lot of people say.
We just don't want to take a risk.
I get it.
I don't want to. If I can give my dog a milk bone and know that he can safely eat that and not harm him, versus not that he don't love that.
Right.
He would want that.
It's like, I grew up with beagles. We had 2 beagles and they lived like almost 18 years. We gave them bones all the time. We gave them beef bones. We always gave them bones, and it made them strong. We felt it would just develop them strong. So I started doing that with Ciri at a very young age. And after she could eat the bones, I did that, and I feel she's healthy. I feel that there's no problems. I talked to my vet about it. They're like, if she likes it, she can chew up the bones. That's not a problem. So I've just heard mixed opinions on that. I was curious to see yours.
I think that's more of a personal thing than more than anything, because our vets told us the same thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's us.
Yep.
I'm just overprotective.
I get that.
If you can probably tell.
Yeah. And that's how Tanisha was too. When I was with her, she was like, I don't get Buddy bones. I was like, okay, that's weird. Like,
it's her baby.
Right.
She babies him.
I feel like too, though, that dogs don't get bones, so you have a smaller jaw. Like, their jaw just doesn't get as developed. I felt like her dog's jaw just wasn't as developed as Ciri's even. Ciri has a nice, strong, developed jaw. I can tell she has strong jaw muscles.
Yeah, and her neck, she's got like very
strong neck. Very healthy looking.
Very healthy.
Yeah.
And a healthy coat. I've noticed you got doing a good job with her.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I give her a few eggs every week.
So do you give her eggs whole?
Yes, I do.
Wow. So we have another friend, Matt from Michigan. He does the same thing.
I do hard-boiled eggs. She loves hard-boiled eggs.
So you boil yours.
Because I do for myself. I at the beginning of the week will make like 36 hard-boiled eggs that I throw in my meals throughout the week. I'll throw her one every now and then too. She loves it. She loves hard-boiled eggs.
Wow. So our friend Matt, his friend has 2 Goldens. And when Matt got his first, Brady, similar situation as Zach. He was engaged. She broke it off. So he came to us for his first.
That's so funny.
But he got a boy. He got
okay.
a boy. And fast forward, he messaged us one day and he's like, hey, what do you think about putting raw eggs along with their food for breakfast, lunch, or supper? However, I said, honestly, we don't do that, but we've heard of people doing that. Because we stay in contact with our families. Like, we're still talking to families from 10 years ago, from 8 years ago.
Good.
Like, we tell people when they get a puppy from us, please stay in touch with us. You know, for any reason, you're out camping, your dog wakes up with a big old bump in the eye, and you say, hey, can you help? And I'm going to say, yeah, your dog got stung by a bee.
Yeah, I think of you guys like family. You guys gave me Ciri, and I think of you guys like family. That's why I share your posts. That's why I try to help you guys with your business.
And we appreciate that very much. And that's what we want with us, our motto is, with us, you don't just get a puppy, you get a family.
Yes.
That's our motto.
Yeah.
And we have amazing families everywhere. We've got some that are still inviting us to go boating with them. We haven't. We have a family, because my husband loves Deadliest Catch.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we had a young couple that got a puppy from us, and he and his dad, they go to Alaska and they fish and work side by side with the Deadliest Catch people. And they're buddies, and at the end of the night, they go back to Grandma's house, the Deadliest Catch family's grandma, and she makes everybody a good meal with the
very
fish
good
that they
meal,
caught.
I'm sure.
So that was something that we're like, we had another family that got a golden retriever from us, and they're from Columbus, Stoff's Coffee House. So if you ever go to Columbus, there's last I knew, there's about 7. I think it might be up to 10 coffee houses. It'd be compared to like Starbucks, but it's Columbus area, just within College area. amazing coffee, bagels, stuff to have. But anyways, they got Ruby. They got a golden retriever from us named Ruby. And when they visited, they didn't visit where you visited in the cabin. They visited one of the back cabins. And funny, this couple sat on the floor to play with their dog. Because I remember you guys, Tanisha did the same thing.
Yeah.
She was just like, ah.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my gosh, when you see that, it just makes you melt. Because it's like, this is my kid.
Yeah.
We knew nothing about this couple. We just thought they were just everyday. And here, he has had interaction with President Barack Obama.
Oh, wow.
So my husband says, we heard a pastor say one time, you are 4 people away from meeting a celebrity or somebody, of a position of something. And we're always one. We're like always one
away.
Always one away.
Well, look, you're on a podcast now.
I know. And now we're doing this. So we're like, okay, this is crazy. Now we're really close.
Right.
And so
you didn't know I was a published author either.
No. So I just seen your book back here, and I think that so I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yep.
So yeah, and so we had another girl that got a puppy from us from Tennessee, and they got a little girl from us, Olivia, they named her. And she went to Paula Dean's restaurant. It just so happened to be that day that they went to the restaurant, Paula was visiting. So she took pictures with Paula. And I'm like, it's getting real.
Oh, yeah.
And I love Paula Dean food, Paula Dean restaurant, and just everything. So we're just amazing people.
Yeah, you really are. You do a lot. You're amazing people.
Amazing people. We got this really cool guy, Dennis, in West Virginia, and he got Izzy. So if you ever see me post, it says Izzy, it's Dennis.
I've seen that. I've seen Izzy a few times on your wall.
and Izzy is his girl. He loves her, and she's starting to get older, and he's like, hey, I think I need to get Izzy a brother. It's time. And so we met him at Rio Grande in Ohio, and he got a little boy, so now he's got Izzy and Byron.
Aw.
And so they're a team. And he takes them everywhere.
Nice.
And everybody knows Dennis because of Izzy and Byron. And he never got married and no kids. It's just him and his kids. And that melts my heart that we are giving people hope.
Joy.
And joy.
So much.
We had a gentleman that was on dialysis. And if you know anything about that, you're sitting in a chair for 3 to 4 hours, hooked up to a machine, doing nothing, just kind of waiting to ride the time. And this gentleman would scroll through our Shufelt's Golden Retriever Golden Kisses page.
Oh, yeah.
Endlessly. Just to look at pictures, watch videos. And also they would get a hold of me and say, hey, your pictures are boring now. You think you can step it up?
That's hilarious.
Absolutely, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. Will do. And I did. And I try. So if you follow me on our page, we have about 3,000 followers. Some of those people I know, most I don't.
Yeah.
We have everything in common. We love dogs. We love golden retrievers. They make us happy. So if you see me post 4 and 5 pictures, that's why.
I believe it. That's the depression thing hits me hard too, because I've struggled with depression on and off for years. And with Ciri, like that depression has dropped. Over tons. Over probably 80%. It's been gone. It's amazing.
And sometimes, when you're talking about depression, you're focusing so much on yourself and what I did, what I didn't do, what I should have done and couldn't done.
Exactly.
And you beat yourself up is what you're doing.
Yep. That's what depression is.
I'm healed from that. I myself, very young girl, 14 years old. I was in a deep state of depression and actually tried to take my life away. Yeah. I don't share that very often, but I think it's important that I do.
It is important though.
that mental health is real. And if you have mental health, get some help. It's okay to share. We're sharing.
Yep. Yeah.
We're being open about
Talking
it.
is important.
Talking is important. Don't bottle it up. I bottled a lot of stuff up. And a 14-year-old girl, I had a sister that was having cancer treatments in Toledo. Her and I were like 12 years apart. And my childhood, I would get off the bus and go right into a van, and we would go straight to Toledo. And first floor was my sister, and then like the fourth floor was my dad. So
You're kind of raised in a hospital.
I was raised in a hospital, and I was pulled away from the family farm.
Yep.
And life changed because dad got sick and my sister was sick. And I'm in the mix of all this, just adapting, trying like a fish out of water is how I felt. But I never told nobody. And I just didn't want to bother my mom because she was busy.
Yeah.
She knows she's about to lose a husband and she's about to lose a daughter.
You didn't want to put this on her too.
Yeah. And I'm the baby of 12. There's 10 of us.
Wow.
Yes. So I have 10 brothers.
Gosh.
Mom had 12 kids, 10 brothers, 2 sisters. My sister was my mom's first daughter, child number 7. And then I was the oops baby, number 12. But I say God put me here for purpose.
Yes,
because,
for sure.
so we'd get in that van and we would drive to Toledo 3 to 4 times a week. And I hated it, but I never said a word. I hated this, that I knew to do my homework in the bus. I knew to not complain. We didn't eat at home those 4 times. Mom was packing food, or we'd go to Church's Chicken in Toledo, which is so good. Their corn on the cob is so good. I don't even know if it's there anymore. Cherry Street, St. B's, all I know.
Okay.
And I just remember that young girl, I say the old Francesca. This is the new Francesca. I have a smile on my face. But that old Francesca, she didn't have a smile, and she lost herself. She lost her identity in depression. And my sister, she was 25. They called the family and said, hey, tonight's the night. She's getting ready to go. So believe it or not, one time you could gather your family and everybody spend the night in the living room. They would let you in the 80s. So we're all in the living room. There was like 30 of us. And we were there as my sister went away. And then that was in December. I remember going home and the Christmas tree was up. Because she died a couple of days before Christmas.
Oh, terrible.
And Mom had so many presents for her. She never got to open up. That tore me up.
Yeah.
And I watched that happen. Fast forward 4 months later, my father passes away.
Oh my gosh. This is
So it came to an end. Those
Yeah.
Toledo trips, those getting off the bus, the going out to eat, but then going to an empty home.
yeah. That's completely different.
I came home to an empty home with no father. I'm 14. I don't have a father. And I'm concerned. Who's going to walk me down the aisle? This girl's getting married. I know my sister didn't get married, but I'm getting married. Mom didn't let my sister date because of old school thinking mentality.
Oh, yeah. Mentality, yeah.
My sister wasn't allowed to date. She wasn't allowed to kiss a boy. She'd never been on a date. She loved Luke and Laura in General Hospital. That was her dude. And that was her love story, was watching them. And I remember when my sister passed away, I told my mom, when I grow up, you're not going to stop me from loving somebody. I'm getting married. And she's like, what? She didn't know she had done that.
Oh, it was news to her.
She didn't know. And when she realized that she heard it from me, Mom, I'm getting married. You didn't let her drive a car. I'm going to drive a car. And I'm going to have a boyfriend. And I just started telling her all these things that I seen she didn't allow my sister to do. Because was it the Mexican culture? Possibly. Because Mom and Dad were from Mexico. How would they have landed here and I'm here? I have no idea. I just know I'm here. To make the story short, all that has tied in, I say, like a left shoe and a right shoe. I have a good pair of shoes on. I traded in my old pair of shoes for a good pair of shoes, and I'm going to finish strong.
And you didn't let that hold you back.
I did not.
That's good.
With challenges, I've embraced it all. I've taken everything and I've applied it to my life.
You're the definition of this word right here.
Exactly.
Warrior. That's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on.
Exactly. And I didn't allow the things that I've been through or the depression, that little girl that thought, I can't do this. I miss my dad so much. And I remember one night, dad had been gone already 2 days, and I was trying to suffocate myself. That was one of my ways that I was trying to end my life.
Gosh.
I took like 10 blankets and I smothered them over my head.
That's a terrible way to go, too.
I know. But you got to remember, old Francesca didn't know what she was doing.
Yeah.
She was hurting and she was lost and she felt alone. And I remember my brother Joe coming up the stairs, and he came to the bed and he started peeling back like an onion, layer by layer, a blanket off my head, till he got to the last layer. And he found me snot all over. I mean, crying, sweat. And he's like kissing me on my head, my brother. And he's like, hey, I know that dad died. And I know that you're hurting. I just need somebody to acknowledge it, because nobody had. Mom, everybody was too busy taking care of the problem.
It was all on you.
I felt like I was carrying the weight of the family, and I probably wasn't. I just felt isolated and hurt. And when my brother gave me that kiss, he said, I know dad's gone, but I'm going to be here for you. I will always be here for you. And I remember crying. I let out a cry that I needed to let out that day. Today, that brother's still there for me. He supports me, and he calls me daughter. Even though I'm his sister, he calls me mija. Mija in Spanish means daughter.
I know a little Spanish. I took Spanish in high school.
So he'll say, mija, mija, how are you? How are you? Love you, mija. I love you, mija. And it's like him saying it is like my dad saying it. And so
that's so cool.
They were there for my wedding. I mean, they love Dave. He's the only son and brother-in-law that all the brothers have. So the things that we go through shape our life.
Yes.
The things that are good and bad and ugly and painful, traumatizing, they shape your life. My life has been shaped, now I say thank God for my mom and dad, that through them, I learned that I watched them love their puppies, love their children. And I've taken all that, and it's valuable.
Yeah.
And now I am who I am because of my experience. And so I want to give that away.
Yeah.
And so that's why I sit there and I'll tell families. I've had families sit and ask questions at least an hour long. You guys had stayed for a while, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're going to take good care of their dog because they're asking all the right questions.
Yeah.
And my ears are always...
You can tell easily to see if they're going to be a good dog owner or not.
Yeah. And then I've had only one true incident where it was a bad deal. Meaning she didn't take care of him, and I think she had some mental illness going on to a place where she couldn't take care of herself, and she definitely wasn't taking care of the dog. And she actually... My thing is, if you can't take care of our pet for some reason, it doesn't matter what age, just don't take them to a pound, we say. Right. Bring them back.
Yeah.
We will rehome them. And it's happened a couple of times. We even had a police officer get a puppy from us, and he had to bring his dog back. No questions asked. We still see him. When we go to Brian, we still see him.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a good guy. It's not about that.
Never bring your dogs to the pound.
No. And he did the right thing. And that's why I'm honoring him. Yeah. I'm thankful that he did. And so we went to pick up this dog. She calls me and she's like crying on the phone. I knew we had to get there now, almost like intervention, now. And so that's the other part of breeding that people don't know. It's not about just giving a dog, buying a dog, selling a dog. It's way more than that. We're talking about intervention.
You're involved with all these families.
It's intervention. Yeah. It's what is best for the puppy and what is best for the family. We have a crisis going on. So you probably didn't think we'd be even talking about this.
No.
But
it's important.
It's very important that if you are a pet owner and you find yourself in a crisis, get some help, call him, call me. I mean, we'll help you solve a problem. That's what we do. So we went to her home. I had my son go with me, and I came prepared. I went prepared. I had a collar, I had a leash, and I had a crate. I didn't take it for granted that she would even have those things, which guess what? She didn't. So that tells me she hadn't been walking the dog. Okay, I'm a dog breeder.
Right.
She hadn't been socializing the dog. And that tells me this dog's never been outside this house because she lived in an apartment. Do you gather all that information from, because I asked her, can I have your leash? Can I have a collar? She says, we don't have one. She goes, but I'll give you back the one you gave me. Which all our pets leave with leashes and collars. And I'm in shock because this is like a 6-month-old dog.
Oh my gosh, Ciri outgrew. I had to buy 3 different collars for this dog.
So I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying. That little girl in me wanted to cry.
Yeah.
But the woman in me said, no, what do you got to do? Take care of this pet. Get this dog out of here. And I told her, I said, thank you so much for calling us. We'll take it from here. And she's like, will you tell me what you're going to do? I said, no, we cannot. I mean, once we leave and we close this door, it ends here. Now we can talk, but you will not know where this, because of the abuse he was received. It was abuse.
Yeah. Oh,
it was abuse. The only thing I did not do is make that phone call, but I figure I stepping in would be like making that phone call. They would have done the same thing. They would have pulled the dog out of the house.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I stepped in, and anyways, this dog, when we got him, he was saturated in urine and feces in her laundry room.
Oh my gosh.
It smelled horrible in there. And you read about stuff like that, but when you experience it firsthand, it changes you. I mean, it reminds you that, some people should not be pet owners. In this situation, I'm okay saying that. She should not have been a pet owner.
Just like not everybody should have kids.
Not everybody should have kids. I mean, exactly. Because this was a, anyways, we were able to get this puppy because he was still a puppy, get him veterinarian care, get him updated on his medications, get him updated on vaccinations. And then we were able to adopt him, and he went to a good home. Good. 100-acre farm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So something ugly turned into something beautiful. They were waiting and had been waiting for, not per se a puppy where you have to puppy train, something like that. They call it like a teenage dog. They're ready. They can do more for themselves.
I see.
Bladder control.
Right.
But this one didn't per se have it because of his environment. It was not his fault.
Yeah, he wasn't trained.
That's like one of my only incidents that I've had that was very disturbing for us. And so, we listen when people share their stories, their lives, and we make it comfortable. So you, the pet owner, getting a puppy from us, we want you to feel safe around us where you can communicate with us. No judgment. Like the police officer, when he brought that puppy back, and when he called me, he was very upset. And I knew that. And when he came to our home, and he got him out of the car, he gave him one last kiss, and he just broke down crying.
Yeah, he just couldn't handle the dog.
He couldn't because he was working. His wife just started working when she used to be a stay-home mom, and then they had kids. Right. So life happened. We just say life happened. Yeah. And so I'm beyond grateful. And so that particular dog, it was just a handful of hours. I got a hold of a lady that wanted an adult dog because he was already an older dog, like 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I called her and I said, hey, somebody just returned a dog, and come and get him if you want him. Come and meet him, and we'll go from there. So she comes. She's 75 years old. So we'll talk about age in a minute. So she comes, and he melted in her arms. He hugs her. He's kissing her. She's crying. She just lost a husband about a year ago. And here's this adorable boy. She needs companionship. So does he. They need each other.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I said, what do you think? You can come back another day and visit him another day. Oh no, he's coming home today. You want to take him home? Yes, you want to take him home. So then we sent her off with, you know, how we do a little gift bag and food, starter food and stuff. And she's like, I already have a name for him. And I said, really? His name is going to be Jake. Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm. That's a unique name.
Yeah. So he's like, everybody's going to love Jake. And so, everybody knows him, Jake from State Farm. So if you hear a golden retriever out there, Jake from State Farm, he's a Shufelt's golden.
That's great. The whole thing about abandoning a dog too, like I hear all the time, you know, people would leave their dog on the side of the road, or I've heard stories of people throwing their dogs out of cars.
That's horrible.
I can't believe it. Like it's insane that somebody could have the heart to do that, because I brought this up because when I first adopted Ciri, my dad had said he was okay with Ciri, and then literally a week later I get a call that says it's either you stay there at the house and you lose the dog, or you keep the dog and move out. And I said, well, I guess I'm leaving in the Jeep for a while. And so I said, all right, well, I'm moving out then. Then not even an hour later, Dad calls back and apologizes.
Good.
So it is like, and that's what I was doing. I was literally going to pack up the Jeep that night and just live out of the Jeep until I figured a place to live, because I bought Ciri. I bought the four. I'm keeping this dog through its life.
You need her.
Right. I need her. And she's
Dad
my best
didn't
friend.
understand that.
No.
She wasn't just a dog. To Dad, she's a dog.
Yes.
But to you,
best friend.
That's your girl.
Yeah. Yep.
That's your girl.
I wasn't going to leave her. There's no way. No freaking way.
And as parents, because we have 4 adult children, we have 3 grandchildren, we have to make sure that our family is always first, and that we are there for our kids, and that we support our kids, and that we remind our kids that you're valuable to us. So is what belongs to you. We don't throw you out with the baby with the bathwater, how they say. You're valuable. Your babies are valuable too.
Yeah.
You're not, it's not just you. You come with a family. You've made a family.
Yes, I have.
And that's what people don't understand, that she's your family now. It's not just you. So whoever future comes into your life, if and when, it's not just you. You have a family.
Right.
They have to adapt to your family, and she'll adapt back too.
Right. And I had nothing against my dad either. He's never had a dog, to himself.
He just didn't know.
He was like me, like just a dog. I understood the whole just a dog thing until I got a dog, and I'll never say that again, because it's not just a dog.
It changes you. It changes you, and it makes you a better person, because
it really does.
This little thing with 4 paws at this size is depending on you for everything.
Yeah.
And they're trusting you wholeheartedly that you're going to love them and care for them and feed them and water them. And that you're not going to let nothing injure them and harm them. And that doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't.
When they're 1 and 2 and 10 and 12, it doesn't go away.
Yeah. I believe that. And like you said, you were saying the whole thing, return, like them waiting for you when you get home. This is crazy, but it's true. I'll literally, I don't know if she hears my car, Jeep, whatever I'm driving that day, will come down the road. I don't know if she hears the vehicle like down the road even, but I can pull up and I can even see my window. She's waiting there at the window before I even pull in the drive.
I love that.
It's like she knows what time I come home at night. It's every night too. It doesn't matter if I'm driving my G6 or the loud Jeep. It's she knows. It's crazy.
So we live on Lake Road, and our son has a Chihuahua. And when he is coming home from work or coming home from band practice, because he's in a band for church and what have you, he is not even over the hill. And she's already glued to the window. And she's like, I know he's coming. But it's not just him. So is the Goldens. They're doing the same thing. And it's the funniest thing, because he has his house. We have ours. Ours are doing that. His is doing that. And I'm laughing. And they're just like waiting and getting excited because he's coming. And next thing you know, he's coming over the hill and there's the lights.
It's almost like they can tell the future.
They can feel
just the short-term future. I feel like they can tell. I don't know. It's weird.
So something that's kind of cool, which is probably a good conversation to have, is a male dog can smell a girl in heat 5 miles away.
This is one of the reasons I got Ciri fixed.
Yes. Yes. And how true is that? So a couple years ago, we did not have a fenced in area. Now we do have a big fence. You can put horses in there or cows, but it's for our Goldens to have a big play area. Before we had that up, that was why we did it, because of that day. Yeah. Do you remember that, honey? We had 3 dogs show up Don't even know where. And one of our girls was in heat. And we had 3 boys. And they were like, no, she's mine. No. And we're
Wow.
like, none of you. She's taken.
And these guys live in the country, like in the middle of nowhere. Like
Yes.
they would have came from a long ways away.
Yeah, we have no idea where they came from. Definitely within 5 miles because we'd never seen these dogs before. And, my husband, one of the boys had to come out and shoot a gun in the air just to scare him off.
Away, yeah.
And we're like, what is this? Okay. We have to protect our girls now.
Yeah, definitely.
And so if you're a pet owner, that's something to keep an eye on. That's why they say, take care of your...
Well, before I got Ciri fixed, I was reading up like what would happen if you don't get a dog, if you don't get a girl fixed, they will literally dig under a fence.
Oh yeah.
I read to like find a male. Like it's pretty crazy the things these females will do.
Yeah. And the males themselves, they've been known to jump over a fence that you think is supposed to be protecting your girls. They will do whatever it takes. So it goes both ways.
Wild.
Yeah.
So right now we like to go into a little thing, halfway point. Francesca.
Francesca.
Cheska, a CH there. We like to go in this thing called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Do you remember this TV show a long time ago?
Yeah, I do.
Do you think you're smarter than a fifth grader?
Not at all. Not sometimes, no.
Well,
I'm just breathing.
We'll see. The first question is, what is the largest mammal on Earth? I'm
thinking a whale.
Close. Blue whale.
Okay.
I'll give it to you.
Okay,
That's good. That's good.
Hey. I'm a little smart.
How many planets are there in our solar system?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just know there's billions.
No, in our solar system.
Oh, solar.
Yeah, in our solar system.
Like 7, 8?
8, you got it.
Yeah.
Yep. What is the capital city of Spain?
Is it France?
Madrid.
Okay.
I was surprised you didn't know. When I've had that one on there, I was like, she'll probably know this one from her background. What is the process of changing a liquid into a gas called?
Oxidation? I don't know.
Evaporation.
Okay. I was thinking there.
Which famous scientist developed the theory of relativity?
I'm just going to say Einstein, but I know it's not true.
Albert Einstein. Yep,
Okay.
Yep,
I'm like, I'm guessing on that one.
Yeah, you're good. What is the primary function of the lungs in the human body?
Air, breathe, oxygen.
Yep, facilitate exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide during breathing. What is the longest river in the world?
The Nile.
Yes, nice. In the United States, how many stripes are on the flag?
It's 7 and 8. 13 stripes.
Yep. Boom. Yep. Nice. Which famous speech begins with the words, I have a dream?
Martin Luther King.
Yes. And last one, what is the study of Earth's atmosphere and weather called?
Say that again.
What is the study of Earth's atmosphere and weather called?
Meteorologist.
Help from her husband, but she
33 years, and I love that.
Meteorology was the answer there to that. So let's see here. Did you miss anything? You missed the capital city of Spain. That's one. You missed evaporation. And I think you only missed 80%. You're smarter than a fifth grader.
Well, thank you. I'll take that. And I'm very surprised, honestly.
Last thing we want to go into today is just a few question and answers about. I posted this on Instagram a few weeks back. For you guys, it'd be about a month back. But we have a little bit of questions here from people that asked questions about dogs.
Absolutely.
So just see what you think of these. First one is I guess you kind of went into this. Are cooked bones actually bad for dogs?
I'm gonna leave that up to you. As long as your dog has teeth, if your dog has weak teeth, I'd say no. If your dog has strong teeth, I'd say yeah, supervise. And if they're eating it, digesting it, and you don't see them constipated or their bowels are still the same, I'd say go ahead and give it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, seek veterinarian advice as well.
Yeah. Yep. What is the best way and fastest way to potty train a dog?
Repetition. And I say that all the time. Consistency, especially at beginning stage, I don't leave water out all day because doing that, you will be assured they will not be potty trained. They're going to go to the bathroom all day, all night. So putting the water out, breakfast, lunch, and supper, along with their meals, that allows them to start developing bladder control. So that's what you're after is bladder control. just no different than a child. That's potty training. You want to do the same thing. You want to put them on a schedule. You know, you got a little boy who's getting off of pull-ups. You want to put him in regular underwear. You want to do, you know, reminders. Hey, time to go potty. I don't got to go. It don't matter. You're going to go anyway. So then they go and then they end up going. Same thing with your puppy. Reminders, repetition, and consistency. Those are keys to successful potty training. Some people do bows. Some learn to scratch the door. Some learn to bump the door and sit backwards. I've seen different kinds.
How do you teach them to do that kind of thing?
They kind of develop that on their own because if they got to go potty, they're telling you. So you pay attention.
Ciri's thing is what she's going to do is she walks away like 3 feet away from me. She'll look back at me, glance.
There you go.
Then walk away around another circle and then glance again. And then she'll walk toward the door. And that
She's
means
really got to go.
And if I'm on a call or something, she'll whimper a little bit. And that's when she needs to go too.
Yeah. That's good. And so you will know, your dog will tell you, you will pick up on that. No different than your child again at home. You're going to know they got to go because, you know, they're jumpy, they're irritable. A dog will be, puppy or dog, they'll be antsy, just like a child. They're going to be going back and forth, pacing back and forth. So that's your cue. They got to go. Here's something funny. I've got bells at home and in our door. I have my adult dogs. They already are potty trained, but if I'm busy making coffee at home, she's about 5. And if I'm busy making coffee at home or I got my music on or TV on, she'll go and smack those bells and then stare at me and sit. And all she knows she has to do is go to the door.
Well, it's funny you said the bell thing because I actually researched the bell method when I was potty training Ciri. I was thinking, I don't think I want to do this though because she's going to just want to ring that bell all the time. Like, she's going to get annoyed. So I was like, probably not the best idea.
Yeah. And so my one dog that loves to do that, it's only because she wants to go outside to play or go outside. That's right.
She'd be ready that forever to say, Shawn, come on, let's go play.
Or she wants to go check something out. She sees a bird. She wants to check that bird out because we've got hummingbirds and we've got these flowers that grow. She'll ring the bell because she wants to go see the hummingbird. And I'm like, girl, no, you're not. You're going to leave that hummingbird alone today.
Wow.
But they will try to play you. And that's what she's trying to do. And so, yeah.
They're smart dogs.
They're very smart is what I'm saying.
Pick up on things and try to twist things in your way too. The funny thing you bring about that, the retrieving thing, like, have you heard of your dogs? Like, what's some of the funniest things your dogs have ever retrieved? Like, I've had Ciri bring back an East Spout. I've had her bring back part of a mailbox before. Where did she get it? I don't know, but I've literally thought about making an episode online. Like, this is what Ciri brings back this week, retrieving things for the week or something, because it's hilarious. I mean, they literally call them golden retrievers. Because they retrieve everything. I've had a garden hose show up on my deck before that's not even mine. I just
So when we moved to our property many years ago, we used to have squirrels. We were the last ones to know that we had squirrels because our home sets way far off the property. Yeah. We're talking like 230 feet to walk to get your mail.
Okay.
So you get some good exercise just to get the mail.
Right.
And so we were back there with the girls and, you know, with our Goldens. And so one of the first earlier memories when we moved to our property was they brought a squirrel to us.
Dead or alive? Probably dead.
Half and half.
Oh, hell.
And it scared me so bad. And they were the same color of our golden retrievers. And I thought, you're cute, but oh my gosh, stop it. You know? And so lo and behold, she let her go and it took off. So she didn't actually hurt it. She just caught it. She wanted me to see it. And so anyways, they've moved out. We have no squirrels. None. They know better. I think they went back to the woods. I don't know where they're at, but we have none.
Yeah, we don't have many squirrels around here, actually. That's a weird thing.
That's one of the creepiest things. We burn wood for living. And so we also have propane. So anyways, we burn wood. One of the times, one of the girls brought a dead snake and dropped it and laid right beside it and fell asleep. And I was the one to go out there to the porch and find a dead snake on my porch close by my rocking chair. And I said, we don't do that here.
We don't do that.
We don't do that here. So I had to get gloves on and a plastic bag and tie it up and put it in my trash can. But it freaked me. I don't do good stuff like that. So
no snakes.
Yeah. No, I'd rather not. So yeah, those are my two
Retrieving
a balloon.
balloons.
One time, people let go balloons, they, for honoring memories, birthdays of loved ones. And we had a balloon one time that came on the property. And so they brought me a balloon and it said, happy birthday. And so it was just a helium balloon that they found. So yeah, different all
things.
three different mega different things. So.
It's quite funny though. If you ever get a retriever, you're bound to end up with a lot of weird stuff on
they
your
will
deck.
be bringing you something. We call it treasure. They brought us treasure.
And they always, what's funny too is they always bring you something. They always bring, like when I let Ciri out to go potty, what she'll do is always grab something and bring it to the door while she's walking. What is the reason behind that?
It's just they're treasure hunting. I mean, they're like, we get branches all the time. We get any strong wind and it drops a limb. We're getting a limb.
Right.
They're going to bring it to us.
Well, I'm talking about like bringing her to the door. She'll pick up her toys and stuff. Well, one of her toys and walk it to the door. Like, is there a psychological reason she does that?
Just to sometimes they scatter their toys on the property, and if she might have scattered it, she may have forgot that she put it there. She's out particularly going to that area. She finds it. She's bringing it back.
I see.
It's more for herself to remind herself, hey, I found my toy. It's here. Now, where am I going to put it? What am I going to do with it?
Okay. And on top of that reason, sometimes when I get home at night from the gym, Ciri will come running to the door with like a teddy bear in her mouth or something. Like, is there a reason they do that?
She's just saying, Dad, I kept myself busy. I didn't get in trouble, and I'm glad you're home.
I read a little bit online about it, and the psychological reason behind it that people were saying was because when they're holding a stuffed animal, they're trying to they're so excited and they know that they don't want to overwhelm you, so they're holding on that stuffed animal to keep some of that energy back.
Exactly.
And that was fascinating to me when I heard that.
That's amazing, and that's what's amazing about the breed is that they have a lot of personality, just like you and me.
Yeah.
They have a lot of love to give. They have a lot of compassion to give. They have a lot of understanding to give. And so we say they're like human, our dogs, golden retrievers. They are like a human being. I was sharing with you earlier about Makita. She's my husband's dog per se. She loves both of us, but she's claimed him. So I've been with my husband. August 11th this year, we'll be married 33 years. We've been together 35 years. So he's mine, actually. But
Makita
according to Makita, and she's a beautiful golden retriever girl. If you find a picture, honey, on my phone, I can show it to him.
If you send it to me, I can put it right here on the screen.
Yes. She loves my husband to the point that when we hug, she'll get in between us. When he goes to bed at night, she's right beside him. And she's there to make sure he goes to bed. And she's there to make sure he wakes up. And she's the first person he sees because he sleeps facing her. I see him second. And I told my husband, and I have literally told him that thank God she's a dog, because if she was human, there'd be some competition there. And as it is, I get jealous sometimes because I'm like, hey, can I have him for a minute? Just one hug. And it's funny because we did not know that existed in dog world, did we, honey? We did not know that was even possible. So we've noticed that the male girls claim the dads or the husbands in the house, the females, and the males, opposite. They claim the moms or the women in the house. They become territorial.
Wow.
You're like property to them. You're like, they will protect you. They will, help you. They will assist you. And we've seen that play out many times. We have a young couple that just got married not that long ago, and she had a boy, and it was just him and her, ready, for about 5 years. And all of a sudden she's got a guy and they're interested, now they're engaged, now they're getting married, Chelsea. And this dog's jealous.
I believe this.
Because Chelsea's spending more time with him than playtime. I'm not getting my proper playtime like I used to, Mom. What's going on?
When I was with Tanisha, so at night, if I would get up during the middle of the night, I'd come back and Buddy would be laying in my spot in the bed. Like every time.
Yeah.
I literally, it was
on your side.
Yes, where I was sleeping.
Exactly.
If I got up to go to the bathroom or something, came back, Buddy would be right there. I was like, again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So like when we go camping, we love to go camping, and we take some of our Goldens with us, and we take turns on who's going to go. And the one, like his girl stayed behind one time, Makita. we knew where to find her. She slept on Dad's bed that night that we went camping because she left a little bit of hair. And I'm like, but not on my side,
Just
his side.
Sense everything.
Yep. And that's a big key. And hair, you know, we were talking about hair.
Yeah.
All dogs shed.
Yes.
You will read, hey, golden doodles don't shed, F1, F2s, F3s. We have some. They shed hair. Anyway, all dogs shed. Maybe not as much, but just like all humans shed, all dogs shed.
Yeah.
That is a myth. So if you hear somebody saying it's a shedless dog,
I've heard that a lot.
it is not true. You can ask your vet, they'll tell you too. They may not shed as much, but even people with tight curly hair, human hair, they shed. I mean, you know, their hair falls. Same with a dog. And so you'll know, especially when you go to brush them, you got loose hair. So that's your cue. You got it before it went on your carpet.
Well, I read up a little bit of history on the golden doodle. One of the reasons it was bred is because of the shedding issue from golden retrievers. And that's interesting that you bring that up because that's a myth.
And it's truly not as much, but it's still there.
Right.
It's still there. And I mean, you go to brush it, you'll have loose fibers of hair. And so we just say, just like you brush your hair, we have to brush our hair so they'll get all matted and that, you know. Same thing with your dog. You want to keep up grooming. We call that grooming, you know, you do it or take them somewhere to do it. And it just keeps a healthy coat. Yeah.
I get Ciri groomed. Boaz gets groomed at the same place, the Peanuts Pet Care and Brian.
Nice.
That's where I get Ciri groomed once a month there.
Very nice.
Yep.
They
do an amazing job.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about them.
Yep.
I had a lady used to come out to our farm and she was from Defiance, an amazing lady. She would come out and groom all my dogs. She was a vet tech and she had gotten cancer. And so she couldn't work no more. But when she come and she was around, it brought her so much joy.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I watched and I cried with her because there's times she would be hurting. She came with pain.
Oh.
And I'd be like,
through like chemo and everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, you don't have to be here. Like, seriously. And I would try to pay her. She wouldn't take nothing.
She did all for free.
I'm like,
wow.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Why are you doing
what angel
this?
Has God sent
guys,
me?
2023. Do you know anybody that would give that kind of service out? I don't.
I don't. No.
I don't.
I don't.
mean, she was generosity beyond kindness and at a whole new level.
Everybody wants to be paid for everything nowadays.
And she taught me kindness and generosity in a level that I didn't know existed. I seen it already in my mom.
Right.
But then to see it in her like that, and I thought, and the one day she was supposed to come and she didn't come. And I thought, okay, I got worried about her. And I called and they told me that she was in the hospital and she wasn't doing so good. And then 2 weeks later, she passed away. So don't take your pets for granted.
Yeah.
Don't take people for granted. And don't take your own life for granted. You know, do your best to eat good. Your pets eat good. You know, love people, forgive people, you know, and exercise your pet. You're exercising while you're exercising your pet. They need water when you're walking. They need water. You both need water.
Yeah. They're just like a human.
They're really just like a human. And enjoy them while you have them.
Yes.
You know, enjoy your pet when you have them because like Mika, we thought she was going to be here forever.
Yeah,
and she started this. And when we were looking to name our business, we did not know that Shufelt's Golden Retriever Golden Kisses. We really don't even advertise hardly. It's more word of mouth. I
know you do. Yeah, it's amazing.
Word of mouth. Yeah, and people were traveling from Wisconsin. They're coming. We had a family come the farthest, 15 minutes from Canada.
Wow.
And they drove, and then they got an airport and flew, got a rental car, came to our house to do what you guys did for about 2 hours. And they got 2 kids, Paul and Jody. And they got Benny and Duke. And so people come from everywhere. Yeah. And some we meet them halfway if we can. We had a family from Fort Campbell military base, a military family. Mom was getting ready to get sent out. And it was just going to be dad staying home with the 2 younger kids just for a minute. But then they were going to have to get a relative to come and move in with the kids. And so since mom and dad had to be sent out for 9 months, both, and one got sent out. They didn't tell me where, but they got a puppy. And when they got the puppy, we actually drove to the base to Fort Campbell in Kentucky. And there we met the soldier and she was already serving. So when they got the puppy, a week later, he got sent out too. Mama Riggy just got shipped out. So comfort.
Yeah.
Peace of mind.
Yep.
So the stories are endless. It's almost like I see a clock.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one story that is so different from the next story.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Lots of stories. And there's so many more stories I haven't shared, but it all goes back to everybody needs a golden retriever.
Yeah.
And I told my husband, as long as families are still having children and still wanting to be a family, your family is not, and I repeat, is not complete till you have a golden retriever in your home.
I believe it completely.
Absolutely.
Back on the, I guess a person had here a question: Are raw hide bones truly bad for dogs?
I would say, it just depends again. I mean, as long as your dog is able to handle it, and if you give them one, just make sure that they are going to the bathroom.
Right.
If their number 2 stool changes, if it's runny, I'd say stop. If it stays consistent to how you knew it was last week, it's okay.
Right. Raw, and that's a big thing. Rawhide is hated because
in America,
there's a lot of bad things about raw.
Yeah.
And I did, when Ciri was just a teeny puppy, I bought her these big rawhides, the stuff that I knew she couldn't swallow. Like they were huge rawhides.
More of a chewing.
Yeah, exactly.
Chewing.
I used them for a chewing thing for her.
Right.
It worked great, but once she got big enough to actually eat them, like I was taking them away then.
Yeah.
I think they can be beneficial when they're a puppy because of the fact they stay together.
Yes. I would say for that purpose, yes.
Big ones, by big ones.
The big
not
ones
small
that are
ones.
bigger than their mouth, where
Yep.
they're just going to play with them and stuff.
I feel like that helped her teeth really well.
Exactly. It sharpens them and helps them to focus on biting on this instead of, things that you don't want them chewing on. We per se don't do that only because, like I said, we're overprotective.
Yes.
We don't want to make sure, we just give them milk bones.
Yeah, I was super protective with it. Like if I noticed it started to fall apart, I threw it away.
Yeah.
The second I noticed that, I was very protective about it.
Yeah, we've done that before, but we also had where a couple of them will, like the adult ones, you give it to them and they were gone within like 20 minutes, like
really?
Disappeared. And we're like,
gosh.
Where did they go?
That's crazy.
And they're happy because they're taking a nap. Obviously, dude, you just ate it. Okay, we're not going to do that again. Because we just wanted you to play with it, but not to actually eat it. But it's almost like giving a kid a sucker and saying, hey, I just want you to lick this, but not eat it. They're going to eat it.
That's why I don't buy them for Ciri anymore, because she would just devour them, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But that's an interesting thing. How often should you give a dog a bath?
So you want to give them a bath at least once a week. It's not something you want to do every day.
That's
not
what
like
I do
us.
for Ciri. Every Sunday is bath day.
Once a week is good enough. You start giving them more of a bath, you're going to give them irritated skin. If you go to a lake and the water's green, I won't say no names of lakes because there's some close by. You definitely want to give your dog a bath because they could pick up a bacterial infection in their skin, and you'll know it right away because their behavior is going to change almost immediately. And so your skin and dog skin is also, important to pay attention to that. And so we always tell our families, if you go to a lake and it's good, clean water, they're okay. But if it's dirty water, give them a bath immediately. We are not big. Walmart has like thousands of dog shampoos. We just always tell our families, because all we use is Dawn dish soap with the duck. Just a little bit of drop. If you got a pool, we put some water in the pool, a little bit of, get it sudsy, and then you just use a hose. Wash your dog just a little bit, lather it.
Sometimes I'll condition Ciri.
That's okay.
I have a really high quality conditioner. I use myself actually, and it works really well for her too.
Yeah, for sure. It just makes her coat, know, and then when you're done, they dry, let sun dry, brush them and they'll be good.
It makes her look phenomenal. I mean, super fluffy, and I brush her out and she looks like a lion.
And it makes them feel good. It refreshes them. It gives them, just like us. We how do you feel when you take a bath and a shower?
Right.
You feel refreshed. You feel like I'm ready to start my day. Same with them. I mean, it just makes them feel great.
Yep.
So absolutely.
Fantastic. Sometimes my dog just won't come to me. What am I doing wrong? Somebody asked.
Sometimes if your dog isn't coming to you, what am I doing wrong? It could be your dog may not be feeling good that day. He might have an upset stomach. You'll be the last one to know. Maybe they ate too fast and they've got pain. Maybe they found a rabbit outside and they don't want you to know that they want to get it. So they're not listening to you. They're hoping to get the rabbit.
Funny story about that. There was a deer leg in my yard when Ciri was just a puppy. And she found that deer leg. I did not exist. Literally, I was not in her existence anymore. She was focused on this deer leg, and I had to take it away from her and throw it in the field.
That's
to
funny.
Get rid of it because, and then later, and like literally 2 months ago, I found that deer leg back on my porch again. I had to drive down the road and get rid of it.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so we had Mika, our first golden retriever, many years ago. It was around 2 and 3 in the morning, and she was barking, and she was over by a tree, and she was stretched and staring up in a tree, and we're like, what's going on? We thought there's a burglar, a robber. We didn't know what's going on. And sure enough, one of the boys goes out there, and it was our son, Daniel. He went out there and he shined the light. And then our other son woke up, David, and he's like, there is a raccoon on the tree, and she wanted to get it down because they were trespassing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because she knew that, this is her domain.
Yep.
And that's what's amazing about golden retrievers. They know that you expect them to protect you, their property. It doesn't matter if it's a little lot or if it's 10 acres. They're going to be like a guard dog.
Yeah.
And so they're not known for being mean, but if they have to be, they will.
There's that's funny because you say that, and then there's a woodchuck that's lived out back behind my deck for like over 5 years now, and I've just left him there because he's been there for that long. I'm like, just let him live. So, and I wondered how Ciri would get along with them, and Ciri actually doesn't chase them. I've seen them sniff each other. Like, it kind of blew my mind the first day I saw it. I was like, I'm surprised Ciri's not trying to attack this thing.
Yeah. Well, and she sees him now as
maybe a family member,
like a cat, like an outdoor cat.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? She knows Dad doesn't want me to beat it up or hurt it. So
I never yelled at her though. I was like, if Ciri eats it, fine, whatever. I don't care. It is what it is. But she never hurt her though. So
that's amazing.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, they know when to step back and because they're watching us, our behavior.
Yep.
More is caught than taught.
Yes.
That's so they're watching us, how we are responding to things they do, things they don't do. And then they're learning, okay, I should be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. So more is caught than taught.
Right.
Just like in children.
That's a good phrase, caught but taught. I like that. Yep. Let's see. What else do people have here? My dog is so hyper around people. Is there anything I can give to her to settle her down? We kind of talked about this in the other room, actually. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
So a couple of things, introduce family members and friends as early as possible to your puppy. So as your puppy is growing at home, like Ciri, she knows who they are. You don't want to bring a guest over like us. It's our first time.
They came over and Ciri
she's like,
so crazy around them. Yeah.
And she knew who I was, my voice. She
probably remembered you from the voice and
smell.
scent. Yep.
My smell. Our voices, our hands. And she's like, Mom and Dad, our first mom and dad, so she responded exactly how I knew she would. So, but you got a first time, let's say your grandma comes over, great grandma.
Okay.
She's 80. She's not been to your home. Shawn, she's coming to have breakfast with you. And she meets Ciri for the first time. Ciri's like, hey, did you know that I was in the house too? They are excited. That's what's going on. They're overly excited. And golden retrievers are known for that, expressing themselves.
Yeah.
It'd be like that one that student in your class that was, who he was. He was the loudest one, or he was always playing jokes on you. And you're like, dude, tone it down. He don't know how to. This is who he is. Well, it's called puppy phase. It will get better, I promise. But in the beginning, so that's why we tell our friend, introduce friends and family that are your regular visitors early to your puppy, so that your puppy knows, hey, and they hold them. And now a month later, they hold them. When they're 4 months, they're holding them. The attitude and behavior stays consistent.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because when I was getting Ciri fixed in her vet appointments, the vet actually gave me a free drug, to give Ciri.
Yes.
She said if she's ever this hyper around the house, I'm like, but she's not. Like, they could not believe when I told her, like, Ciri's so laid back at home when it's just me. Super laid back, chilled, laying on the couch.
She's herself.
Yes, herself. Yeah. And then they were like, well, if you ever need, I'm like, I'm not going to drug my dog.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And it doesn't always work. I mean, I was just telling you about our daughter, our granddaughter, she's our Maisie. It's a golden retriever. We call her our granddaughter. She hates storms. So our daughter went and got, medication, and we just had that terrible storm just last Saturday, and she freaked. I mean, she's looking for tables. I mean, she's looking for a blanket. She's looking for something. She just don't want to see it. So you got to close everything out, Anyways, she gave her not one, but two to calm her down, and it did not work. So I would say try something else. Try just holding your pet. Try going to a room where there is no windows, where you can close a curtain, turn up the music, put on cartoons, change the environment so they don't pay attention to outdoor environment. Change your environment in the house.
There's a lot of brands on Amazon. There's the one brand I think that has like 2,000 5-star reviews for like pet chews that you give your pet, and it supposedly calms them down. And I was reading through the comments, and the comments seemed promising. I've never tried them for Ciri, but there's a lot of brands out there that promise things like that.
Yeah, and I know my dogs have favorite foods. Like there's some that like watermelon, some like apples with peanut butter.
Speaking of, Ciri eats everything. There's nothing Ciri won't eat. She literally, it blows my mind. Pickles, she loves pickles.
Oh my gosh!
If I go to snack on a pickle, if I go to snack on a pickle, she's gonna be right there, like, give me a pickle. Like
that.
I'm cutting up peppers at night. My parents have their garden right now, so we have all this fresh produce coming all the time.
Nice.
Tomatoes.
That's awesome.
She loved. I literally presented her with a tomato, and she just pulls out my hand and.
I've not ever heard that before.
Tomatoes. She loves them. Like I cut them up at night in my salad, and she's like, "Give me some of that. Give me this." And she just loves produce. I have not found anything that she will not eat. She burned herself on a hot carrot once that came out of the microwave. So whenever I give her a carrot, she's hesitant about taking it. So I have to lay it on the floor first.
Make sure it's cool. Yeah.
Yes. But Ciri, it's everything. It's crazy.
So here's something that might make you laugh. My dogs are bilingual. They understand Spanish.
Really?
Yes.
What makes you? I need to hear a story about this.
So when they're puppies, just like yours, Ciri's been around you speaking English. My puppies, and now they're grown, they're around me, and I speak Spanish. Hablo el español y hablo muy bien, y me encanta cantar y tocar la guitarra en español. I like to sing and play my guitar in Spanish.
No hablo inglés.
So for the people that understood, you understood that. So my dogs understand Spanish and English. And if they're good, I talk to them in English. If I'm upset with them and I'm correcting them or they're not listening to me, I'll yell at them in Spanish and they know what to do.
They know nueve means no, right?
Yeah, I'll say, no, ven pa acá. No, come here right now.
No, is it nueve? No, nueve.
Nueve is number 9.
Oh, how do you say no?
No.
Oh, no.
Just same.
No. Sounds the same.
Same thing.
Same thing as English.
Just change your voice.
Nice.
So they're very smart and intelligent breed is what I'm saying.
I watch a lot of Japanese anime. I wonder if Ciri's learning Japanese.
She probably knows some Japanese.
She sits right beside me and watches on. So I think she likes the bright colors on it. It's fascinating.
You'll be surprised now. When Mika was little, the boys were always watching SpongeBob SquarePants, our youngest son Jordan, and she would sit and watch, and you'd see her head, and when he'd be laughing, it's almost like you'd see her smile.
That's how it is at night. It was serious, and it's the same thing.
Golden retrievers smile, like they really
smile.
They really do. They know when they're joyful. Like
it's the cutest thing too.
Like you'll see like
ripples. Like you can just tell. You can just tell.
And so that's amazing.
Well, that was the last question I had there.
Okay.
And so we can kind of conclude right there. But thank you, Francesca, for being on today. This was fantastic. This was exactly what I wanted to cover with dogs, because dogs are such a new thing for me, and Ciri brings me so much joy. Yeah. And I knew I needed to pay it forward to you guys to have you on here. And your links are going to be down below. You have your cuisine. Do you ship cuisine, or is it just local?
We do local. We do weddings, we do parties, we do birthday parties, quinceañeras. We just did a wedding.
Oh wow.
This Friday, Myers and Defiance.
If I ever get married, I'll have you cater.
Absolutely, you'll love it. So we just had Myers call us, and so we're going to be catering to Meyer employees.
Wow.
They won an award, and so the company has requested for us to come and cater to them. We started just friends and family, and we have a gentleman, Paul, who's been ordering food from us for almost 7 years. So he's our faithful and first customer ever. And so it's been going on for a little while, kind of low keyed. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just start sharing a little bit more.
Do you have a social media page for that as well?
We do. So if you go to Francesca's,
I'll put every link down below.
Yep, Mexican cuisine and catering. You can see what foods we have, and we have a huge menu for, if you choose for church gatherings or family reunions, it doesn't matter. Lots to choose from, everything's delicious.
And for your dog breeding, do you breed, if somebody was watching this, they wanted a dog out of Texas, could you make it work?
Absolutely. Yes. We have had my husband fly, and the puppy stayed with him in the airplane and in the cabin. And so my husband flew from Fort Wayne and took it to a military family who is in Georgia. And so
that
it can happen. So any state.
Yep. Just reach out on
Any
Facebook.
state.
You guys respond real quick on Facebook.
Yes,
every time
we
I
do.
reach out, they respond real quick.
Yeah. And we have our most amazing thing is the joy that it brings to families.
Yes.
That is priceless. This
really
is more
is.
about that than anything. More of a hobby breeder, you know, more than anything. It's a hobby, you know, it brings me so much joy.
Yeah, it does.
And it keeps my hands busy, you know, to do good things. So
God put you on this earth to do this.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that.
thank you.
And then one last thing I just want to ask here to leave the listeners with. What is the biggest reason someone should get a dog?
So you don't have to do life alone. You will never have to do life alone. You always have someone there to support you, to guide you, and to remind you daily that you have purpose and they are part of your purpose. And so there will never be a lonely moment in your home. They fill your home with so much love. They bring the outdoor sunshine in.
Yeah, they do.
And so everybody in America needs
This house was
a
so
golden
lonely.
retriever.
This house was so lonely before I had
Oh, I
Ciri.
believe it.
I'd come home from the gym and I never thought much of it till I got
It's
Ciri.
quiet.
And I'd come home and it was super quiet. And now I think back to those times since I have Ciri, I'm like, I can never go back to that. Like,
No.
I will have to have a dog for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I know I will.
Absolutely. And we're the same way. We're the same way. We
Yep.
love our dogs, and we're just thankful that we can do this and, you know, bring joy to so many families. And
Yeah.
so we really appreciate for letting us come on.
You're very welcome. I had a blast today. I
Thank
hope the
you. We
listeners did
appreciated
too.
this.
But as always, guys, we'll see you next week. Stay strong and God bless.
Thank you.
That's perfect.
Nice.
That was awesome.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I think we covered a lot of good. I think a lot of unexpected things too.